Shake the Room, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network with great shows like My First Million. Today, we'll be sharing how years of professional skiing provided the mindset needed for this competitive housing market. To drop these value bombs, I have brought Athena Brownson into EO Fire Studios. With 8 years of real estate experience and a background in professional skiing, Colorado native Athena knows how to compete in this tough market and provide a seamless buying or selling experience for all. In today, Fire Nation, we'll talk about finding success in non-traditional ways. We'll talk about the importance of becoming unique in your field and the mindset needed for success, and so much more when we get back from thanking our sponsors. In 2021, entrepreneurs with a community generated 45% more sales than those without. Learn how to build your own thriving community that will transform how you sell for free. Enroll today at thinkific.com/EOF-access. Discover the secrets and strategies to turn your content into profit with hosts Luis and Fonzie Camejo as they discuss topics like the how to be nice principle that's costing you a fortune. Listen to Content is Profit wherever you get your podcasts. Athena, say what's up to Fire Nation and share something that you believe about becoming successful that most people disagree with.
JLD, thank you so much for having me. Fire Nation, this is Athena Brownson coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And I have been pondering this question for weeks, it seems, because I find there are so many keys to success, and I'm sure many could disagree with most of them. But I think that people often find that they think of success as these grand moments in our lives, really huge turning points in which success is bred from them. When in actuality, I think success comes from the small moments that are done habitually that we don't even necessarily realize are the keys to becoming successful, really. It's generally not in traditional settings. You know, I think we think of success as something that you get after you go to college, or maybe after, you get the job that you want. But really, it's found in those small moments that you don't even realize you're getting successful by doing. How's that?
It's fantastic. It's obvious you spent some time on that. And I can resonate fully because I tried the traditional route. I mean, I was in the Army for 8 years. I went to law school, corporate finance, commercial real estate. I kept trying to force myself into this like traditional career path, and nothing was working for literally the first 32 years of my life. So I get it.
Wow.
I'm all about that. And Fire Nation, we're talking about how years of professional skiing provided the mindset needed for this competitive housing market with Athena. So you have found success in very non-traditional ways. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your journey.
I would love to. And it's so funny that you say that, talking a little bit about your background, because as I was preparing for this, I thought so much about how life really never goes to plan. It never really goes the way that you think it's going to go. You enter for military or law. For me, I started out, trying multiple jobs as well, from interior design. I was a professional skier, like you said, but it's all of these little moments and things that we think are going to create the person that we are that usually don't go to plan. And it's all about our ability to pivot. And I think skiing really taught me everything that I know today as a business person and as a competitive real estate agent. And if I could go back, 15, 20 years and talk to myself about how important and critical these moments in my skiing career would be in my future success as a business person, never in a million years would I have thought that the two correlated. But skiing taught me exactly what it means to be successful. And it's all about the small habitual moments that we do over and over and over again. And those are things that stick with us and you become part of you naturally. So really, skiing taught me everything that I needed to know about real estate, and I didn't even realize it was happening.
I love that. And I actually call it putting in the reps. It's all about putting in the reps no matter what you do.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have people that come to me, Athena, and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about launching a podcast, but I don't think I'm going to be as good of a podcast host as you are. And I'm like, well, you're probably going to be as good as I was 10 years ago when I launched, but I've been putting in the reps since then. I have over 3,700 interviews done. I've been habitually getting up and doing the right things, putting in the reps every single day for a decade. So no, you're not going to be as good as me day one, but you're going to be as good as me day one as my day one was. Like, that's the reality. Don't compare your today to my today if you haven't started yet. Compare your day one to my day one if you can do any kind of comparison whatsoever. Although I'm actually a big believer that comparison is the thief of joy, that you will
100%.
always despair when you compare yourself to anybody but yourself yesterday. And if you're beating that comparison, if you're winning that comparison more times than not of you yesterday, then you're going to win overall. And with your background, Athena, you could have chosen a lot of routes. Why real estate?
You know, it's so funny you asked that. When I was growing up, I grew up in a small ski town some people know as Breckenridge. And I used to joke that there were more real estate offices than there were t-shirt shops. And I said that as a cliche. I never thought that I would want to have anything to do with real estate. My dad was a residential real estate developer, so I grew up walking his job sites, being cold, thinking that real estate revolved around being cold on construction sites and cliche, t-shirt shop real estate offices. Fast forward down the line, I graduate college. I have an amazing internship turned job in the interior design industry. And I find myself not feeling creatively pushed. I didn't feel I was fulfilling my potential. And I also, coming from a skiing background, I like the ability to be in charge of my own success. So it all comes down to input. How much am I inputting into my success? Am I working hard and thus, success, the sky is the limit? Or, if I'm slacking off, I'm not going to do very well. And I had a good friend at the time who said, Athena, I think you'd be good at real estate. Have you ever thought about it? And when I think about real estate and when I thought about real estate, it really encompassed everything that I loved in life. And that is humans. I love relationship. I love spending time with people. I'm very social. I am an extrovert to the T. I love homes. I love interior design. And I love to be my own boss. So when I looked at all of those elements that being a real estate broker was, I knew that, hey, this is actually something that I should give a try. And after having the idea spawned by my dear girlfriend, who's an incredible real estate broker in Bozeman, Montana, I quit my job the next day. I started real estate school as I recovered from my 9th ACL surgery. And I had one opportunity to pass the test because I was leaving for Africa to go teach sustainability and farming the next day. So I passed my real estate exam, and that was just 8 years ago, a few days ago. I just had my 8-year anniversary.
Wow.
So how's that for a path?
Congratulations. That's a heck of a path. I love that. But the real question I have to ask you is, do you love selling sunset?
Guilty pleasure. I cannot tell you how many times I have watched Selling Sunset. I find it so entertaining. It's hilarious. I love the houses they sell. I love the outfits that they wear. It's ridiculous, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Do you like Selling Sunset, JLD?
Totally understandable. I love Selling Sunset. I'm not going to lie. I've always enjoyed real estate. I actually did a little residential real estate myself in San Diego back in the day before Entrepreneurs on Fire. And then I went to commercial real estate for a couple of years. So I really have both sides of the fence. So I've always been into real estate. I've always understood how it works and enjoy the process. And, with me selling Sunset, like I get like why like a lot of people like it. I'm not as much into the outfits as some people are, which is totally cool. I do like them, by the way. I'm just not as into them as some people.
That's probably okay.
My one request would be I would just say, hey, can you guys just show me a few more houses? Because man, I love like going through those houses and seeing how that process works. Like that'd be my one request, to make it a little bit more of a real estate show. Like right now it might be like,
agreed,
like 70-30, like 70% drama and clothing and fashion, and then 30% real estate.
I go to $1 million listing personally.
Yeah, that's great.
So $1 million listing LA and New York, I am addicted to. I put it on in the background when I'm working at home, and I like to think of it as productivity.
It is productivity. Come on, you're just like, you're putting yourself in the zone. You're learning the talk, to walk the walk. I mean, everything helps. It's all about putting in the reps. And Fire Nation, we're going to hear about what makes Athena unique and so much more when we get back from thanking our sponsors. What's something that every business owner needs to grow and scale, but not a lot have? Funding. If you're looking to fund your business with 0% interest, then Lending America can help. Lending America is one of the leading U.S. funding companies, having secured over $1 billion for clients at 0% in 2019. And Lending America doesn't just help you get 0% loans, they can also help you with paying down high interest rate credit cards and restructure the debt at 0% for 12 to 18 months. So whether you're looking to fund your business or pay down high interest rate credit cards to give yourself some breathing room as you grow, Lending America can help. At Lending America, every customer receives a free underwriting consultation to go over their credit report. Then, if approved, you'll also get to work with an underwriter who will show you how to get things done with the least amount of time and money wasted. Build and fund your dream business, all at 0% interest with Lending America. Visit eofire.com/lending for more details and for service disclaimers. Here at EOFire, community has always come first. You know this, Fire Nation, but did you know entrepreneurs who focus on growing their community generate 235% more revenue in their first 90 days of business? Building a community requires a lot of effort, but there is a powerful tipping point where your community starts to fuel a network effect where your followers drive connection, conversation, and engagement for you. As an entrepreneur looking for the latest strategies in 2022 to grow your business, building an engaged community shouldn't even be a question. And lucky for you, the team at Thinkific have created a completely free course that will take you on the fast lane to creating your own thriving community. In this brand new course, you'll learn the A to Z steps for starting, launching, and growing a thriving community, what tools and tech you should use to build and run your community, 20 proven tactics that will get your community to drive itself. If you are committed to building a thriving community this year that will 2x your revenue, visit thinkific.com/EOF-access. That's THINKIFIC.com/EOF-access. HubSpot is a CRM platform that lets you spend less time managing software and more time serving your customers. That means turning customer data into actual insights you can leverage for marketing campaigns and more. And they do it by eliminating friction so your team is empowered to do their best work. HubSpot is here to make your work life easier with things like their Sales Hub. HubSpot's sales software ties all your data and tools together in one intuitive, easy-to-use platform so you can close more deals without more tools. And their Marketing Hub lets you build your entire marketing funnel while keeping your sales team in the loop every step of the way. And we can't forget their Service Hub. Delight your customers without overwhelming your team. HubSpot's customer service software brings all your data and support channels together in one place so your team can spend less time hunting for information and more time helping customers succeed. Learn how HubSpot can make it easier for your business to grow better at HubSpot.com. Athena, we're back. And as I mentioned before the break, I want to hear what makes you unique. Why would clients want to work with you in a market saturated with agents?
Saturated is the perfect word. So in Denver, there are over 26,000 real estate brokers. Now, you say this number, and in actuality, there's about 1% of agents that do 99% of the business. So although there are 26,000 licenses out there, there are not actually a ton of agents that do, the majority of the business in the city. But amongst the agents that do business in the city, why would you want to work with me? I love my job, and I hope that that comes off in absolutely every interaction that I have with clients, with really anyone I meet. My whole business is founded around relationships. So I believe so strongly in having a relationship-based business in which my clients become, an extension of even family, I would go as far to say. I want to know the ins and outs of my clients' lives to the extent that they would like to share, of course, to the point where I feel that I could be that trusted advisor for them in making some of the biggest purchases and sales of their entire life. I think often real estate can come off or be very transactional. It can be all about how quickly can I get through this transaction so I can get the commission and go on to the next client and never talk to that client again. And that's my nightmare. I want to create an experience in which I'm building a lifelong friendship with my clients, and they know that when push comes to shove, when negotiations are taking place, that they have someone at the table that knows them and is going to go to bat for them. And that's what I do for my clients. And I take a lot of pride in that. I know what it means to compete. I've got a background in competitive athletics for over a decade, and I know what it means to fight, and I know what it means to really have to work for something. And I've learned that through other challenges that I've faced with my health in the last 5 years, which we can also discuss. But I put my all into building relationships with my clients and really having their backs at the end of the day. This is a big transaction. You know that from selling residential and commercial. This is the biggest purchase or sale someone will make in their life. You hope you have a good agent for that, right? I could just hope that I'm that person.
No, I love that for all of those reasons, because Fire Nation, it comes through. If you're being genuine, authentic, transparent, if you love what you do, it's really going to make a difference. Like, we actually just had a Podcasters Paradise Q&A. We do that once a month for people in our community. And the question was asked, literally, this was the question, like, what do you like most about your job? And I said, getting to talk with inspiring and successful human beings. And Athena, you're one of those. And I'm immensely enjoying this conversation because you're an awesome person. You have a great background. You've done some cool things. You're doing some cool things. You have a future of doing really cool things. And I literally love doing that. So like, these conversations for me, I look forward to them. They're easy because it's just me having a conversation with a cool person where, like, you're my 6th of 7 interviews today. A lot of people would say, I could never
Holy moly.
Yeah, and that's a common response. And guess what? They say, I could never do 7 interviews in a day.
You're like, I'm talking to 7 cool people.
I'm talking to 7 cool people, and I love doing it. I could never do 7 times a day what the person who asked me that question was probably doing that day, because I would not enjoy that, and hopefully they do.
Isn't it neat when you find that path in life that you're like, this is genuinely what fills my tank?
It's everything, and you got to keep just swinging the bat till you get there, because I mean, I tried a bunch of things that didn't work. I mean, law school, hated it. Corporate finance wasn't for me. Like, I tried a bunch of things that I just wasn't into, but I kept stepping up and getting to a different opportunity. And I want to ask you, Athena, you've had a lot of success in real estate. Like, you've done a lot of cool things. If you could just take your favorite success that you've had since becoming an agent, what's that story that comes to mind? Like, walk us through that favorite success story that you've had in the past 8+ years.
I have had so many neat experiences, but one came to mind the second that came out of your mouth. And it goes back to actually my dearest girlfriend from skiing. She was a professional skier with me for a decade. And growing up around her, I'm an only child. So I really, really, really loved spending time with her and her sisters growing up because they were kind of my sisters. Well, fast forward to about 2 years ago, one of her older sisters and her family came to me and had a very unique request for just the property of a lifetime that they wanted. And of course, when there's a very specific request for a property, it usually isn't on the market. So first of all, it means you're going to the drawing board and you are doing research on anything that could possibly fit their needs. And then it comes to an interesting part where you actually have to go knock on people's doors and see if they would ever be interested in selling their homes. Well, I found this property on the most idyllic street in Denver, and I knocked on the door, and they immediately shut it in my face. But as I was walking away from that property, I looked across the street, and I realized I hadn't looked into this property. It was this absolutely stunning brick mansion on a tree-lined boulevard near it was where their kids went to school in that neighborhood. And I said, you know what? I just got the door shoved in my face. That's fine. I'm going to walk across the street and see if I can spark a conversation. And it just so happened that the couple across the street had just been offered a job out of state, or out of the country, actually, in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that funny? So they had just finished redoing the entire interior of this property that was built in 1890 it was all brick, and the brick factory used to be about a quarter mile down the street. So they had just spent about 2 years redoing the entire inside of the property to make it a little bit more modern while keeping the classic elements of it. And it was the perfect timing because they had literally just accepted a job and needed to move to Puerto Rico. So I was able to find my, basically sister, the property of her dreams for her and her family. And it is a property that I still spend so much time at. So to be able to kind of have my skiing career, the relationships I made, and what I love to do come full circle in such a unique way, I'd say that's my favorite story.
That's an amazing story for so many different reasons. Putting in
it's
the
a
reps,
cool one, huh?
Yeah, not giving up after the first experience. I mean, there's so many cool things that are in there, and I want to really make this, end with a bang here, because I really want your top tips for those people in Fire Nation, our listeners here, who want to pursue non-traditional career choices. Both you and I have done so. Many people that are listening have either done so, want to do so, or maybe don't even know where to start if they wanted to do that. So what would your top tips be for that?
Absolutely. So this is something I'm extremely passionate about. And again, it's going to go back to my skiing career. But when you are in any athletic sport, endeavor, or even non-athletic, you have a coach or you have a teacher or a mentor that is watching, how you are doing absolutely every movement that you're making, and they can see from above where your blind spots are. They can understand where you're going and help you see what needs to be done in order to get there, and are often finding the things that you don't know that you're not doing because you don't know. So the same thing comes in business. I am such a huge advocate for mentorship. I think that the whole idea of apprenticeship has kind of gone away and is something that needs to be really brought back into how we learn and how we develop our skills in life. When I first got into real estate, I found an incredible agent who had 20 years in the business, and I just followed everything he did for about a year. I went on showing appointments with him, listing appointments, did his open houses, watched how he did market analysis, listened to how he talked on the phone. I watched absolutely everything he did, and that's how I learned the basics, the foundation of how I was going to be successful in real estate. But once I stopped following him, I realized that it was time for me to find a coach. I needed someone that could have that bird's eye view on my career, on my day-to-day business, and keep me accountable for how I was conducting my day-to-day, how I was going to be developing as a human and as an agent, and really telling me where my blind spots were. It's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of day to day. In real estate, your phone's always ringing, you're running from one place to the next. It's really easy to just be looking down and forget where you're headed. So for me, coaching and mentorship is the greatest gift you could give yourself to be successful. So if you are in real estate or really any other business, I would highly recommend finding someone that you trust, that you admire, and that you know is going to call you out if you're not doing the right things. Because at the end of the day, you don't need to hear everything that you're doing right. You need to also hear where your weaknesses are, what you can work on, and how you can grow through that. And I've had a real estate coach ever since, and it's the absolute most important thing that I do in my business.
Keeps you accountable, Fire Nation. Hold your feet to the fire. I love to say, find somebody who is currently where you want to be. Because guess what?
Boom.
They know the path. They know the path to get there. So find that person. Now, Athena, you've shared so much great value. I like to say you've dropped value bombs galore in this episode here today. Take us home. What's the one thing you really want to make sure Fire Nation gets from our entire conversation today? Then give us the best way to connect with you, any call to action you have, and then we'll say goodbye.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. I'm glad that I could give a little bit of value bombs. That makes me very happy. Fire Nation, I want to just tell you that life does not always go to plan. The plan you set out for yourself is generally not the path that's actually going to be laid out. And it is our ability to pivot and to grow from opportunities that we often don't even think are going to be presented. Usually the turns that life has in store for us are the greatest moments that are going to be formative in creating the people that we are, which then translates into your business. I think that you and I have talked so much about when you're doing something you love and you're authentic to it and you're genuine, it's going to shine in your day-to-day interactions and what you're doing. And I find that if you're conducting your business in a genuine, authentic way that is real, based on life experience, based on everything, every little moment, every habit that you have formed throughout your lifetime, then you're going to be successful and it's going to shine through in everything that you do. So I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration. Remember, the daily habits that you're doing every day are going to have a bigger effect on your life than you could ever imagine. And Fire Nation, if you would like to get in touch with me, the best way to do so is by looking at my Instagram page, which is Athena Brownson Realtor. I will spell that out because it's a mouthful. AthenaBrownson And Fire Nation, that has my website, phone number, email. Contact me anytime if you have questions about real estate. If you're anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to chat.
Fire Nation, you're the average. Of the 5 people you spend the most time with, you've been hanging out with AB and JLD today, so keep up the heat. And head over to eofire.com, type Athena in the search bar. The show notes page will pop up with everything we've talked about, links to everything. And Athena, thank you for sharing your truth, your knowledge, your value with Fire Nation today. For that, we salute you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it, and it was truly an honor.
Hey, Fire Nation. Today's Value Bomb content was brought to you by Athena. In Fire Nation, what can 3,000 of the world's most successful entrepreneurs teach you? How about how to achieve financial freedom and fulfillment? My first traditionally published book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success, is a revolutionary 17-step roadmap that will lead you to the lifestyle you've been dreaming about. This book took me 10 years of accumulating the genius of the world's top entrepreneurs, and you can get it all in one place when you visit uncommonsuccessbook.com. I'll catch you there or on the flip side. In 2021, entrepreneurs with a community generated 45% more sales than those without. Learn how to build your own thriving community that will transform how you sell for free. Enroll today at thinkific.com/EOF-access. Discover the secrets and strategies to turn your content into profit with hosts Luis and Fonzie Camejo as they discuss topics like the how to be nice principle that's costing you a fortune. Listen to Content is Profit wherever you get your podcasts.